Part 1. The Invasion. The day Earth trembled, June Park's hands were sweaty against the cold metal console. Outside the reinforced underground bunker, the sky had turned an unnatural shade of metallic grey. Alien ships hung like monstrous predators, their sleek surfaces reflecting the burning cities below. These weren't the friendly spacecraft from movies. These were killing machines designed with cold, calculated precision. They're targeting major population centers, Hero Kim whispered, her voice cracking slightly. Her fingers danced across multiple communication screens, each showing increasing chaos. Seoul, Tokyo, New York. Entire metropolitan areas were being systematically erased from existence. The Collective, as the alien invaders dramatically called themselves, had planned this invasion for decades. Intercepted communications suggested they viewed humans as nothing more than an evolutionary mistake, a species ripe for extermination. Their weapons weren't just destructive, they were surgically precise, cutting through military defenses like a hot knife through butter. June remembered the first reports. Initial military responses had been catastrophic. Advanced fighter jets turned into burning debris before they could even launch a meaningful counterattack. Naval fleets were vaporized within minutes. The aliens' technological superiority was so overwhelming that resistance seemed not just futile but laughable. "They're going to finish this within hours," Hero muttered, her eyes reflecting the flickering screens showing global destruction. Massive energy blasts turned skyscrapers into dust, highways became molten rivers of melted concrete, and entire populations vanished in moments of terrifying brightness. But something burned inside June, a spark of defiance that the aliens couldn't calculate or understand. While their sophisticated algorithms predicted total human surrender, they failed to comprehend the most unpredictable element of human nature: hope. The bunker around them shook. Dust rained from reinforced concrete ceilings. Warning sirens blared a continuous, mind-numbing screech. Outside, civilization was being rewritten, erased by an enemy that saw humans as nothing more than an inconvenient biological infestation. Hero looked at June, her eyes carrying a mixture of terror and something else, a subtle, dangerous glint of resistance. "They think we're finished," she said, her voice now steady, "but they have no idea what's coming." June allowed himself a small, knowing smile. The invasion was brutal, devastating, but it was also just the beginning of a story the aliens would never see coming. In hidden facilities across the planet, teams of scientists, military strategists, and ordinary people were already moving. The Collective believed they had won. They were catastrophically wrong. The first phase of humanity's most important battle had just begun, atmospheric details to enhance the scene. Continuous distant explosions, creating a rhythmic background sound, emergency communication channels crackling with desperate, fragmented messages, the bunker's low-frequency vibrations suggesting massive external destruction, subtle hints of advanced human preparation hidden beneath the apparent chaos, emotional undertones, fear mixed with a dormant, primal survival, instinct, collective human resilience emerging from individual moments of personal courage, an unspoken understanding that surrender was never an option. The invasion wasn't just about technological superiority. It was a test of human spirit, adaptability, and an unbreakable will to survive against impossible odds. As another massive energy blast shook the bunker, June and Hero exchanged a look. The real battle was just beginning, and humanity had a few surprises stored away. The aliens thought they had won. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Part 2. Hidden preparation, the silent counterattack, deep beneath the smoldering ruins of Seoul. A hidden world pulsed with an energy that could change everything. The secret research facility wasn't just a room. It was humanity's last hope, carved into solid bedrock and protected by layers of technology that made military bunkers look like children's playgrounds. David Kim moved between holographic displays, his fingers tracing intricate patterns of data that danced like living organisms. He hadn't slept in days, maybe weeks. The lines on his face told a story of endless nights, countless calculations, and a mission that meant everything. Around him, a team of the world's most brilliant minds worked in perfect, synchronized silence. These weren't just scientists, they were humanity's last line of defense. Engineers, geneticists, quantum physicists, and military strategists had been preparing for this moment for decades. While governments argued and militaries fell, these individuals had been weaving a plan so complex, so unexpected, that the alien invaders couldn't possibly comprehend it. "The nano-network is stabilizing," whispered Jisoo, a young quantum engineer, whose breakthrough had been the key to their entire strategy. Her fingers flew across multiple holographic interfaces, creating connections that looked more like living neural networks than computer systems. The facility was a marvel of human ingenuity, powered by geothermal energy and completely isolated from external communication networks. It was invisible to the alien invaders. Multiple fail-safe systems, biological security protocols, and adaptive technological defenses made it essentially undetectable. David remembered the early days of preparation. Most people had thought they were crazy. A group of scientists and military strategists obsessively preparing for an alien invasion that seemed like science fiction. Massive funding had been funneled through hidden government channels, disguised as research projects, scientific grants, and technological development programs. "Surface destruction is at 67%, reported Minho, monitoring global communication intercepts. "The collective believes they've won." A subtle smile crossed David's face. Winning and believing you've won were two very different things. The nanotechnological solution they'd developed wasn't just a weapon. It was a living, adaptive system that could infiltrate and destroy the aliens' most sophisticated technological infrastructure. Years of research into quantum entanglement, biological computing, and adaptive algorithms had created something unprecedented. Each team member carried the weight of humanity's survival. They weren't just scientists. They were soldiers in a war fought with intelligence, creativity, and an unbreakable human spirit. "Preparation phase is complete," David announced, his voice calm but charged with an underlying intensity. "Deployment sequence ready." The room buzzed with a strange mixture of tension and hope. Outside, the world burned. But here, in this hidden facility, humanity's true strength was being unleashed. The aliens thought they had won a war. They were about to discover the true meaning of human resilience. Subtle details that enhanced the scene. Soft blue-green glow of holographic displays. Muted conversations filled with technical precision. Underlying current of hope mixed with strategic calculation. Sense of collective human determination. Emotional undertones. Quiet confidence replacing initial fear. Strategic brilliance emerging from collaborative effort. Unspoken understanding of the massive stakes, the preparation, wasn't just about technology. It was about proving that human creativity, adaptability, and collective intelligence could overcome seemingly insurmountable challenges. As David Kim reviewed the final deployment protocols, one thing became crystal clear. The invasion was about to take an unexpected turn. The real battle was just beginning. Part 3. The Infiltration. Humanity's Silent Warriors. Sang-min. Lee's heartbeat was the only sound that mattered. Dressed in a specialized infiltration suit that blended perfectly with the alien ship's metallic interior, he moved like a ghost through corridors that pulsed with strange, otherworldly energy. The briefcase wasn't just a container. It was humanity's ultimate weapon, a quantum adaptive virus so advanced it could think, adapt, and destroy from within. Years of preparation had led to this moment. Each step was calculated, each breath controlled. Around the world, similar teams moved with surgical precision. They weren't traditional soldiers, they were humanity's most extraordinary individuals. Scientists who had become warriors, engineers transformed into infiltration experts, individuals who understood that survival meant becoming something more than anyone expected. Sang-min remembered his training. Months of preparation in hidden facilities that pushed human capabilities beyond known limits. They had studied alien technology, learned their communication patterns, understood their biological systems. The modification wasn't just physical, It was mental, technological, almost supernatural. The alien ship's interior was a nightmare of biological and mechanical integration. Pulsing organic circuits mixed with metallic structures that seemed to breathe. Normal humans would be overwhelmed, but Sang-min and his team were anything but normal. "Target approaching," whispered a voice through his neural implant. Ji-woo, the team's primary strategist, was monitoring every microsecond of the mission from their hidden base. The quantum adaptive virus was more than a weapon. It was a living system designed to exploit every weakness in the alien technological infrastructure. Created by the most brilliant minds on the planet, it could think, adapt, and destroy with a precision that defied traditional understanding of warfare. Sang-min's modified body moved differently. Enhanced reflexes, neural pathways that could process information faster than any standard human, sensory capabilities that transformed him into a near-perfect infiltration machine. He wasn't just carrying a weapon, he was a weapon. One wrong move would mean total failure. The aliens' detection systems were sophisticated beyond imagination. 1 millisecond of unusual movement, one tiny miscalculation, and the entire mission would collapse. The ship around him felt alive. Organic corridors pulsed with an almost breathing rhythm. Strange energy signatures danced along the walls. But Sang-min knew something the aliens didn't. Humanity's greatest strength was its ability to adapt, to overcome, to survive. Injection. Point in 3. Ji-woo's voice remained calm. 2, 1. Sang-min's hand moved with impossible precision. The briefcase opened. The quantum adaptive virus began its journey. Contextual atmosphere, tension so thick it could be cut with a knife. Underlying current of hope mixed with calculated risk. Silent determination that spoke louder than any weapon emotional layers. Fear transformed into focused determination. Individual courage representing collective human spirit. Unbreakable will to survive against impossible odds. The mission wasn't just about destroying an alien threat. It was about proving that human potential knew no boundaries. As the virus began its silent infiltration, the aliens had no idea what was coming. Humanity's most sophisticated weapon was about to be unleashed, a weapon of intelligence, adaptation, and pure survival instinct. The infiltration had begun, and nothing would stop them now. Sang-min Lee smiled. The real battle was just getting started. Part 4. Silent Destruction. The Invisible Apocalypse. The first signs were so subtle that even the most advanced alien sensors barely registered them. A tiny flicker in a communication grid. A microscopic breakdown in a bioadaptive armor's molecular structure. Like a cancer eating away at the most sophisticated technology imaginable, humanity's virus began its silent massacre. In the central command ship of the collective, alarm bells began to sound. Not the dramatic explosions from movies, but a series of soft, almost apologetic beeps that grew increasingly urgent. Commander Rin-ho stared at the holographic displays, watching something impossible unfold. System integrity dropping. A computer. Voice reported. Its usual calm now tinged with something almost like confusion. Entire communication networks started dissolving like sugar in water. Complex technological systems that had conquered hundreds of civilizations were now falling apart from the inside. The virus wasn't just destroying, it was learning. Each system it touched became a new pathway, a new opportunity for infiltration. Where traditional weapons would have caused external damage, this was a complete internal collapse that the aliens couldn't comprehend. Bioadaptive armor, once considered the most advanced protective technology in the galaxy, began to crumble. Microscopic algorithms attacked at the molecular level, breaking down connections, destroying internal structures. What had seemed impenetrable was now revealing its deepest vulnerabilities. Across different alien vessels, commanders watched in growing terror, their screens filled with cascading errors, communication lines turned to static, defensive systems becoming increasingly unreliable. The perfect machine was developing critical failures, and no one understood why. This wasn't just a technological defeat. This was a fundamental challenge to everything the collective understood about warfare, technology, and survival. The human virus moved like a living intelligence. It didn't just destroy, it adapted, evolved, found new pathways of attack that defied traditional understanding. Each system it touched became a new learning opportunity, a new way to understand and dismantle the alien infrastructure. Communication between alien ships became impossible. Navigation systems failed. Weapon platforms went offline. The mighty invasion force was being dismantled not by external force but by an intelligence they couldn't fight, couldn't see, couldn't understand. "How is this possible?" Commander Rinho whispered, watching his entire technological ecosystem collapse. The answer was simple: human creativity. The ability to think beyond traditional boundaries, to create solutions that defied expected logic. The virus wasn't just a weapon, it was a statement. A declaration that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in muscle or technology, but in its ability to adapt, to create, to survive. Psychological impact. Growing alien confusion replacing initial confidence. Silent terror of technological breakdown. Realization of human intellectual superiority. Atmospheric details. Soft electronic failures replacing dramatic explosions. Gradual, almost elegant systems collapse. Sense of inevitable defeat growing with each passing moment. Emotional undertones. Human determination, represented through technological brilliance. Quiet victory replacing expected violent confrontation. Intellectual warfare trumping physical destruction. The collective had invaded expecting a simple conquest. Instead, they found themselves facing something they could never have predicted: a species capable of turning their own technology against them. As systems continued to fail, one thing became crystal clear: humanity was no longer just fighting for survival. They were rewriting the rules of warfare, of technology, of existence itself. The silent destruction continued, and humanity watched, waiting for the final moment of triumph. Part 5. The Final Strike. Humanity's ultimate moment, the T. Sky transformed into a graveyard of alien technology. Massive ships, once symbols of galactic domination, now fell like broken toys, their once gleaming surfaces turning into burning meteors. This wasn't just a battle. This was humanity's definitive statement to the universe. In the underground command center, David Kim watched the global displays with a mixture of scientific precision and raw human emotion. Each falling ship represented more than a military victory. It was proof of human potential, of our ability to survive against impossible odds. The nanovirus had reached its ultimate configuration. No longer just a weapon, it had become a living intelligence that understood its mission with terrifying clarity. It didn't just destroy, it systematically dismantled every single technological system the aliens possessed. Planetary networks collapsed like fragile glass structures. Communication systems dissolved into meaningless electronic whispers. The mighty collective, which had conquered countless civilizations, was being erased from existence by something they could never understand: human creativity. Final cascade. "Initiating," reported Jisoo, her fingers dancing across holographic interfaces. The room buzzed with an electric anticipation. Years of secret preparation, decades of hidden research were culminating in this single moment. The alien fleet's final transmission was a haunting message. Not a heroic war cry, but a desperate, almost childlike plea of incomprehension. They couldn't understand how a species they considered primitive had completely destroyed their entire civilization. Sang-Min Lee, who had personally delivered the initial virus payload, watched the screens with a calm determination. This wasn't about revenge. This was about protecting a planet, a species, a future. Global communication channels picked up the alien fleet's final broadcasts. Fragmented messages of terror, confusion, and ultimate defeat. The universe was watching. Humanity had just redefined the meaning of technological warfare. What made the victory so profound wasn't just the destruction, it was the method. Humans hadn't won through brute force, but through intelligence, adaptation, and an unbreakable spirit of survival. The nanovirus continued its relentless journey. Each alien system it touched became another piece of evidence. Humanity was not a species to be underestimated. We were not victims, we were survivors. Atmospheric details. Burning alien ships creating a surreal celestial display. Soft electronic sounds of systematic technological collapse. Growing sense of human triumph replacing initial fear, psychological. Layers, scientific precision mixed with emotional victory. Collective human achievement represented through individual efforts. Transformation of fear into unbreakable determination. Emotional undertones. Quiet confidence replacing initial panic. Intellectual victory over physical confrontation. Humanity's potential revealed through crisis. The final strike wasn't just about defeating an alien invasion. It was a message to the universe. Earth would defend itself. Humanity would survive. As the last alien systems failed, a strange silence fell. Not a silence of defeat, but of anticipation. The universe had just learned a critical lesson about the species called humans. We were not just survivors, we were creators of our own destiny. The sky burned, the alien fleet died, and humanity stood tall, ready for whatever might come next. The final strike was complete. The future belonged to us.